Episode 7 of the Bad Batch Battle Scars was so cool and really turned up the tension to a level reminiscent of the first episode. There's a lot to get through for this episode, so let's get straight into it. We open with the Bad Batch escaping from several starfighters after stealing a valuable cargo from a criminal organization named the Rhokai. At present, we don't really know much about the Rhokai as they are a newly introduced criminal organization. We also learn that the Bad Batch are in debt to Sid after running up some serious expenses and will at some point in the future be forced to take up a big job in order to pay off their debt. It is here that we finally find out who the man is in the hologram at the end of episode 6. Based on the clothing and Rex's mention about Trace and Rafa, it's pretty clear that Rex was the mysterious client. And it also suggested pretty heavily in this episode that Rex is a part of the rebellion in some way. Although this raises a lot of questions, because as we know in Rebels, Rex's involvement in the rebellion doesn't really come until later. A possible answer to this is that in the short time after the rise of the Empire, the rebellion wasn't really a formal group. It would be a couple of years until the rebellion started to develop various different cells across the galaxy, so it is entirely possible that Rex left the rebellion before it grew even bigger and would later rejoin in the events of Star Wars Rebels. So the question now becomes, what happened to Rex that made him step away from the fight? The Bad Batch and Rex then leave for Bracca to get the inhibitor chips out of their brains. Bracca is of course the junk planet that was first introduced in Star Wars Fallen Order. In Fallen Order, we see KESTIS salvaging junk from the remains of the decommissioned Venator Star Cruiser, and similarly, in the Bad Batch, our heroes traverse through this environment in search for a medical facility. However, Bracca in the Bad Batch appears to be noticeably less busy, with the exception of a few speeders here and there. In Fallen Order, Bracca is by far a far busier place. This is because by the time of the events of Fallen Order, the Empire has made its full transition away from Republic designs to Imperial ones. As a result, the scrapyard has probably become a more lucrative site for the Scrapper Guild. In the Bad Batch, it is still very much in its early days. Much of the Republic-era ships are still in commission, and we have only begun to see the Scrapper Guild move in to monitor the area, which could explain why the planet is far more quiet. We also get to see a Sarlacc lurking in the waters down below. Wrecker is almost eaten by the Sarlacc, but manages to get out in time. In Fallen Order, far off in the distance you can actually see a similar looking creature, albeit much bigger. While it may appear to look like the same creature that attacked Wrecker that is all grown up, it is most likely a different creature. The large tentacle creature that we see in Fallen Order is actually an Ibtis Maw, very different to a Sarlacc. The major difference can be seen in the tentacles, where the Ibtis Maw has mouths on the end of its tentacles, whereas the Sarlacc does not. Perhaps the highest point of the episode was when Wrecker finally succumbs to the effects of the inhibitor chip. Wrecker takes out the vast majority of the team with ease, and there were really moments where I felt that it was entirely possible for Wrecker to die here, which thankfully did not happen. By the end of the episode, Rex attempts to recruit the Bad Batch to be a part of the rebellion, and while Hunter refuses, stating that his priorities have changed, he hasn't shut the door on that possibility completely, offering any help Rex needs should he get into a bit of trouble. We also see Rex talking to someone before Hunter interrupts, and there is a very good chance that the person on the other side of the comms is Ahsoka, as she was an active member of the rebellion. Overall, the episode was absolutely fantastic. We finally do get a sense that the plot is moving forward. Now, with the Empire most likely hot on their tails in the next episode, I anticipate that there will be plenty of action scenes. However, this also means that whoever hired Fennec Shand is not the Empire, and is most likely the Kaminoans, as if the Empire only learned of their location now, it would suggest that Fennec is working for the Kaminoans, as the Kaminoans do wish to recover the Bad Batch without the knowledge of the Empire, and judging by the way things are moving forward, there's a very high chance that we will get some sort of clone rebellion, and given that the Bad Batch know how to remove the inhibitor chips, they might well attempt to rescue Crosshair in the upcoming episodes. That's all for today's episode. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I am the Lost Acolyte,
and I have spoken.